Hey, SnackySays listeners. Hey, welcome to SnackySays Podcast. It is I, Joddie Taylor. Today we're doing something a little bit different. I have a rewind / flashback episode for you, which first aired January 8th, 2023, entitled Storytime, Goal Setting Burnout, Why I'm Not Setting New Year Annual Goals. So this episode, I literally had COVID a little bit behind the scenes. I didn't say it at the time, but I think I was in my 9th or 10th day of COVID, and I had a rough time with it. But the first couple of days were terrible. Obviously, by the 8th, I felt well enough to record a podcast episode, which kind of blows my mind. But even before I recorded this episode, I was pretty much done. I was at the tail end of 5 years of goal setting and personal development, just consuming. And I was burnt out. It's 18 months later, and I still feel burnt out, which kind of surprises me. I'm still very much into personal and professional development, but I'm no longer I'm still doing the things, but I'm not setting annual goals anymore. I stopped 18 months ago, and that's still continued. But have a listen to this episode if you haven't already. It's one of my more popular episodes, one of my most downloaded ones. But I know that I have new listeners and new subscribers. Hey, welcome, new subscribers. On that note, I am trying to hit 50 subscribers. As of this recording, I have 34 subscribers to joddie.substack.com. If you haven't already, please take a moment and subscribe. That's joddie.substack.com. Now, thanks to 17,000 podcast downloads, I know that plenty of folks are listening. I would love for you to take the next step and subscribe to my newsletter. You'll get monthly newsletters, and you'll also get our weekly SnackySays podcast episode in your inbox. Okay? Thank you so much for listening, and here is our 2023 episode, Storytime, Goal Setting Burnout. Hey, it's Joddie Taylor of SnackySays.com. Welcome back to my podcast. Today, I am talking about goal setting and my goal setting burnout. I'm tired. I'm done. So, now this does not include fitness goals. I always have health and fitness goals, but in particular, I'm talking about like planning for the year goal wise. And I'm not going to do that this year. Well, the new year has already started. I'm recording this in January 2023. You're probably going to hear this around mid-January. If you listen when it gets posted, no matter when you're listening. Thank you. Thanks for listening. So the reason why I'm experiencing this burnout, I've been sitting here thinking about it. So I thought I'd record an episode and just chat it out, is because the last 3 years, no, more than that. Every year, basically, I'm like, yo, you know what I want to do next year? And I start planning, and I write things out. I've had like literal books that I bought, or like printables that I printed and like planned for the year, dreams, goals, wishes. And I can honestly say that in the last 5 years, almost none of them have come true. So I'm done. Maybe I'll change my mind. Maybe this year will be different and I'll feel re-energized and recharged. I am thoroughly optimistic, like ridiculously optimistic, in spite of any reality that's going on. I've pretty much maintained a Pollyanna persona when it comes to setting my goals, in spite of any evidence that anything that I'm even thinking of, dreams, wishes, goals, that it can come true. Like I will just set these things because I feel like, go big. Why not? And I've also come to realize that it's a matter of perspective. So what I think is a big goal sometimes is someone's Tuesday. So I'm actually super careful to go pretty big. It doesn't mean that I'm going to be realistic, because you can't really be realistic. Is it a dream if it's realistic? Then you would just go out and do it, right? At least that's my definition. It got to be something you're really going to reach for. It doesn't mean that I won't, try new, big, different things this year. I'm just not writing it out. I don't have a word of the year. I don't have a resolution. I don't have things jotted down under each month of the year. I'm not breaking down like categories in my life, like, oh, what do I want to do spiritually this year? What I want to do financially this year? Only God knows, and He ain't talking. That is what I got out of the last 5 years, my personal experience. So I'm still going to keep it breezy. I'm still going to be open to things, but I'm actually not going to take the time. You're not going to use paper, ink, or digital means to kind of set out any plans for the year. And it's funny because I've heard, and I've maybe even spoken about, like, how writing your goals helps them to come true. But that hasn't worked out in my case. And I know it's been an unusual set of years, especially the last couple of years, with the asterisks. So we all went through a pandemic. Feels like we're still going through it. I can't believe I'm saying that, but it's true. And so for a lot of people, that changed things forever, changed it for a little while. And I mean, that runs the gamut depending on the health and safety of your family and friends and yourself, maybe where you worked, how you worked, like, but other people really strived. Some people really strived during the pandemic and made more money than ever, and maybe were stronger than ever, healthier than ever. So, but again, I think it's worth mentioning, something to consider. If the pandemic never happened, maybe things would have been different, but maybe not. We will never know. So, yeah, that's about it. We're at almost 5 minutes. This is not a tip. I'm just sharing. And so if you are going through a phase, maybe this is a phase, maybe it isn't, but if you're going through, if you feel like, well, I usually set my goals and you don't, I'm a living example of someone who's not going to do it. I'm still going to, of course, pursue things. I'm going to keep my mind open and my heart open. But I'm going to go the other way this year, and I'm not going to plan it out. It's almost, it just kind of feels at this point for me, in my experience and my journey, it just feels like a fallacy, because I don't know what's gonna happen. I know things that actually I really haven't put any thought at all into this year, in terms of, like, I don't know, I'm gonna make something up. Like, in the past, I might have said, I'll give you one from the past, like, oh, okay, I want to go to Thailand for, it wasn't Thailand, it was Paris for my birthday, the following birthday. And the following birthday, of course, was like the heights of the pandemic. So of course that didn't work out. And that just continued to be a theme, where it's like, I want to do something and it doesn't work out. That's just part of life. And what I learned during this season, I'm doing air quotes, is that a season, air quotes, can be years. And it really blows, like, it doesn't blow when you're having a season of prosperity and happiness and joy. And let's say that goes on for a decade. Hopefully you don't think, shit, I've been happy for how long? What's going on? But it just hits different when it's the opposite. It just seems like more obvious, like, and just really trying. So anyway, when one day, hopefully soon, I'm having the opposite experience and everything's just coming up roses for years and years and years, I hope that I'll remember recording this. Actually, I know I will, but I think I'll always be like, man, life is good. This is really, really good. I'm on a run right now. And I hope that I feel it with the same intensity that I'm feeling this what's a good way to put it? Dry spell. I'll end it by saying that this doesn't include my fitness goals. I talk a lot about my health and fitness goals. Even though I really kind of work on that month by month. I do have a long-term plan, like for the next 3 years, and I have that all written out. But that's different. That's kind of almost like a program that's running in the back of my mind. So maybe I'll apply that to some of my goals this year. Maybe I just need to use a different energy than I've been using. Okay. If you got this far, I appreciate you, because I really am just sharing my thoughts, kind of like part of my journey. You know, I suspect that one day I will do a podcast episode or write a blog post about like the top 10 ways I got through a really shit time. But I haven't gotten through it yet. So this is what I'm talking about. And yeah, that's what it feels like. I've spoken before quite a few episodes back about like feeling like I'm on the cusp of greatness and wondering if you're feeling that too, if anyone else is feeling that too, but it doesn't quite happen. You know, like I just have this vision of future me, and then there's me right now. You know what's funny? I used to have a doll named Mimi. Anyway, and then like past me, right? And I don't know. It's like I can see her, future me, so clearly. What I can't see clearly is how to get there. I know I'm going to get there, even in the midst of me being like, ugh, I'm burnt out. I know I will get there. That doesn't mean that it's not rough right now. And I consume a lot of personal development. And I have to say the consistent thing is folks talking about how they made it. You know, like, here's what I would do differently if I was starting my business today. Here's like the 10 steps that you need to blah, blah, blah. But there's not enough people, at least in my experience. Please share. You know, like if you heard other episodes, podcast episodes like this, or read blog posts, or, you know, books, like this is the part that I'm really, interested in. It's not so much like I'm scaling a mountain. It's kind of like the drudgery, the daily drudgery of trying to get where you're going and feeling like you're not making any traction at all. Anyway, okay, I'm really going to end here. Thank you for listening. If you are also experiencing kind of goal setting / personal development, burnout, you're just tired, I'd love to hear your thoughts, or if you've been through it and you have tips, I'm all ears. Thank you so much for listening. This is Joddie Taylor of SnackySays.com. Take care.